Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel dedicated to Manchester United. This is your breaking news show with me, myself, Sam, and Shreyas. Sam, I believe you've been off work today. So how have you spent your time? Been on any climbing mountains again, or?
No, not today. Went out yesterday for the game to Brentford. Um, Today just chilling, playing some video games, and then I'm gonna go see my mates tonight. So yeah, it's a good day.
Okay. Okay, so relaxed morning this morning. That's what you're saying, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah, Shreyas, yourself, usual college day. Have you embarked
Yeah,
upon any mountains? Have you, yeah, what have you been up to?
no mountains, but yes, the heat is back in India pretty much.
Oh,
Back
God.
to back to dealing with 35 degrees and 36 degrees. So, uh, yeah, college stuff.
Yeah, they call that heat wave. That this is where Nick dies heat wave. Because if I was over there, I would, would not enjoy it. So my sympathy and condolences is out with yourself, Shreyas. Right, we've got a lot to get into, lads. Anyone who's currently watching, make sure you smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you share it with your friends as well. Because the topics on the table today are very mouthwatering. We're going to start with an update from the Telegraph in regards to the ownership situation. Next on the three-course meal will be some bits of future. We'll see what the lads think about that. And then for dessert, we'll have a little bit of transfer talk. So a lovely show as always, well informed. Yeah, let's start with the ownership situation. Then there is a Telegraph. There's not a Telegraph. There's an article from the Telegraph, should I say? And if I was prepared like I usually am, I would have the photos up of the Telegraph. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue to waffle whilst I pull the pictures up, and then we'll discuss the article. The computer's just decided to go, nah. So bear with me, guys. I'll get the pictures up. There we go. Right. So I'm going to zoom in on that. My glasses. Last week, Manchester United. Oh, no. That's not the one I want. Fucking hell, Nick. What are you doing? I'll get there. I don't know why. Ball moments right now, my computer's decided to go really, really fucking slow. Right, I've got it. So, the Glazer family are planning to delve deeper into offers for Manchester United as they invite the leading bid contenders for negotiations in the coming days. Fears the controversial owners may now be planning to retain overall control have been raised by well-connected figures in European football. However, sources within United insist the Glazers remain open-minded and will continue pursuing all available options. One major factor is likely to be established the absolute top price that Sheikh Jassim and Tajim are willing to pay for an outright table. Offers of £5 billion are believed to be tabled already for a deal, which would obliterate the American football, well, the biggest offer for the American football franchise, I think it was the Denver Broncos, which is $3.8 billion. And the Glazers are looking for as much as £6 billion to sell. And it remains to be seen if any of the bids will be sufficient to persuade the Americans to end their 18-year reign. Sam, we've spoken more than enough on the ownership situation and how it might play out and all the different kind of variable, literally every single variable we could possibly discuss, we have done. What is the first thing you want to see, whoever it is who comes in, what's the main priority for you for these new owners when they come in? Again, like I said, regardless whoever it is, what do you want to see from them? What, as a fan, what would excite you?
I suppose what would excite me is a little different to what would excite the average fan. I think the average fan wants us just to see spend big, get the best players, get Mbappe, De Jong, Gossaman, those kind of people. For me, is I want us to build a scouting and structured network in the likes of like Ajax have, that Brighton seem to have, that City are able to go out and do, and we find these gems in South America or Portugal or wherever it is in the world. We have scouting networks all over the world, and we're able to get these really good players for a cheap price, bring them in, or even put them out on loan to develop, and then we could bring them in and we develop and they become world-class players. And we don't have to spend 400, 300 million every single summer just to compete. We can do it the right way, so you can blend it. So you can bring in your Osimhen, your Kane, but then you go out and you get a 20, 15 million pound young centre forward who's ready to be slowly bled in and will know that he eventually becomes the guy after your big signing. that's what I would love to see. I'd love to see him set up a really good structuring scouting network. Ajax do it every single year. They pick up, for example, how much did they pick Anthony up for? Like 15 million, 8 million, something like that.
Yeah, something around that. Yeah. And Lissandro for 9 million.
Lissandro for 9 million. They develop, and then also would like to see them put a lot of money into our academy, in our training facilities, so then we can, the likes of like people like Marcus Rashford and stuff like that are more frequent. We get players like that every single year in the academy intake and the academy growing up. Again, Ajax are very good at doing this. Frankie de Jong, Donny van der Beek, like they've all played the Ajax way through the Ajax academy, developed by Ajax, cost them nothing, and they've gone on massive careers. So I would like them to do that. If we could spend money on that, obviously the stadium's an issue, but I don't think the stadium affects your ability to win titles and your ability to become a better team. Obviously, it's very nice. It's good for the fans. It reinforces you as a brand and all that sort of stuff, but I don't think it's a necessity to the team. So I think if we can build a structured network in scouting and a really good training facility and youth academy, I'd be all over that. I'd be like, these guys know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, in terms of the more focus on the financial side, sorry, as there was a little bit more in this article that was touching on, saying last week United recorded a net profit for the first time since the COVID-19 pandemic hit 3 years ago. Overall debts are close to $1 billion, and a debt-free takeover would instantly mean United are up to 45 million better off each year by virtue of no interest payments or dividends. But if just listening to them kind of figures that are floating about, the amount of debt the Glazers have put us in, do you think we're a sleeping giant at the moment? If these new owners get it right, what could be in store, do you think, for Manchester United fans in the future?
I think if the new owners are able to get it right, if the new owners are actually, able to make the best use of the club when it comes to, the global reach of the club, the way it has its appeal as well to so many fans all around the world, I think United can be cash rich very soon, like very, very soon. I think we have the players who
It might
are.
already be.
Yeah, it
Cashless.
definitely is. Definitely. I think the people just, they have to come in and just tap into the right market for it. And the moment that they do it, I think we'll be in a much better situation when it comes when you speak it financially. Of course, the figure of the debt is, just so high that probably it will take a little while for us to, be in a stable situation, I would say. That because, if you're talking like, if we have to spend like around 500 to 600 million just to clear off the debt, of course it's going to take some time for us to, recover our funds. It is going to take some time for any owner to actually, be able to reach financial stability. So, but I do believe that, even if they are able to clear off the debt by, making a very, very huge investment, I think they can recover it very, very easily in, in the coming like in a couple of seasons. They can genuinely recover all of it and actually, use some of it to be used into the infrastructure of the club or in transfer windows as well.
Yeah. Sam, I feel like the quote, a debt-free takeover would instantly mean an extra 45 million each year is kind of important there. Do you think people realise how much money the Glazers actually milk out of this club? Because the stick we get beaten with all the time as United fans is, oh, well, they haven't spent this and they haven't spent that. That's usually what gets thrown at us, isn't it?
I think the average fan probably not. I don't think the average fan cares. Average fan wants to see, like I said, good players come to the club. They want to see wins, goals, and stuff. Transfer news. That's pretty much it. If you go down a level or you go up a level of the fan, people like us, match going fans, people who make it as a make content, have been connected to the club their entire lives, growing up around it, etc. Then yeah, I think they are well aware of it. We've spoken to Jay Motti on this channel on occasion. You've been on Paddock. He's very much against the Glazers, as is the entire Stretford Paddock. So I think fans like that who are educated, whether through their own means or just being exposed to content, they're well aware of it. They've spent none of their own money during their time in this club. When they bought it, they didn't use, I think they used about 200 of their own money, and then the rest of it was loans and leveraged buyout, which now is illegal because of what they did. It's now illegal to do that to a club because of the way they did it. And and it's just continued like that. They've milked the dividends every year for every other Glazer. Like, there always seems to be one more. Every time the dividends time, there seems to be another Glazer that we find out about. There's Bob, Darcy, Bartha. Like, there's always a new one when it's dividend time.
Harvey Adams.
Yeah, with the hands out, ready to take that money.
Yeah.
And they've spent on they've spent on transfers. It's like, well, they haven't, because they put it on essentially a credit card. That's what they've done.
That's what I'm on about. Opposition fans. That's what I'm trying to get at. Like, other fans saying, "Well, they spent this and they bought him."
Well, it's been on a credit card. They've got a line from, I think it's the Bank of America. They have a credit line with. And I think they've still got a couple $100 million. So if the Glazers did stay this summer, that's what they would be using to spend this summer, which is worrying, because that's another 200 million into debt, which is astronomical. I know most businesses, big businesses, work on debt and stuff like that, but the way the Glazers have run it, we've ran it into the ground, and we're in serious trouble. Because if we want for Ten Hag and we're not making the Champions League, or we're not winning trophies and stuff like that, we could be in big trouble, because we're not making the money back in order to sustain ourselves while they milk it dry. So yeah, it's a tricky. Precarious situation we're at right now. We're only surviving because of how good we've been under Ten Hag. That's the only reason we're still standing. If it weren't for Ten Hag, God knows where we'd be right now. We'd be struggling. Which is actually ironic, isn't it? Because the better we do, the more likely the Glazers are to stay. More money they get. More money they get. Yeah. So it really is like the definition of a double-edged sword. Like, you can't really win. In fairness, just Sam mentioned there about the Glazers staying, like a little bit in what he was saying there. There was another article bit on, I can't speak, man, my fucking brain. I apologize. In the article, there's a bit basically about the Glazers potentially staying, taking minority sales. It's saying they're also understood to be a range of minority sale and share options raised by American investment groups in recent weeks. Elliott, the US hedge fund, filed new terms to New York brokers a fortnight ago, offering a minority stake deal. The former AC Milan owners previously offered to provide financing to any potential bidder. Their revised offer, submitted before the original deadline, is for a small amount of common equity, in addition to an offer to provide financing for any bidders. Now, Shreyas, I know legally there is a way they can stay, and it's not out of the realms of possibility. But if they load more debt on the club to fund certain things and continue to take money out, and this carries on, if that is the future for Manchester United fans, how bad do you think this could get?
I think it could get to a point where we genuinely might struggle. Like, we're seeing we genuinely need investment to be made into the infrastructural facilities. We need investment to be paid back, to provide some restructuring to Old Trafford as well. We genuinely need more investment to back Ten Hag. We need other investments as well in order to, just keep the club functioning well, keep it stable. But like you're saying, if it carries on like that, if the Glazers do end up staying, and definitely this is the only way that Glazers would, most likely proceed. I think it will be a very, very bad situation for the club. If we speak about it in financial terms, and there is only a limit to which a club can survive. Like, after a club can take 1 hit, 2 hit, 3 hits, but after a point, they will come to a point that things might start crumbling. And I think if the Glazers stay and they proceed with that tactic, I think it'll happen, and it would be very difficult for us to actually come out of it.
Sam, can you imagine a world where that happens? And what do you see in that world if it does? What happens tomorrow if the news breaks? Sky Sports, you get Sky Cavi with his little flicky pen, and it's saying the
can
news
we just
that's on.
Can we just say he knows fuck all? He is.
Oh yeah, no,
he's guessing every single day. He's just guessing shit. So
yeah. Like that with his little pen, and he goes, the news I'm getting is United are for sale, and you're just like, all right, mate. Honey dicks. They use a title like Qatar update or this, or whatever. Literally, our shows and other shows have well more information on this situation and dive. Like, I don't understand how he gets away with it. But anyway, a world where the Glazers stay. If it got announced tomorrow, Sam, is like they've taken minority investment. What do you think happens?
What's the next home game that we've got? Sevilla?
Everton. This
Everton.
weekend.
Yeah, prepare for that game to be cancelled and shut down.
tanks the lot.
Yeah.
It's not happening. It's not going ahead. There's no way it's going ahead. Because the fans are at the point. We're on the brink right now. Fans are on the brink. If the Glazers stayed...
I'll come to Manchester as well.
There you go. The Glazers stayed. You remember the Liverpool, the game where we got the game cancelled and stuff like that?
Yeah.
That's what you're looking at.
I remember that.
And it's not going to just be the Everton game. It's just going to be every single game. Every
Relentless.
game is just going to be relentless and shut down. They're not going to be able to end... If they think they're going to be able to come to the stadium at any point, if they stay, it's going to be chaos. The fans will find out where the hotel is, where they're staying, or where their apartment is. They'll find it. They'll find the car, what the license plate, everything. Like, you've seen the mobilization under like the group of like the 1958, where they've basically made TeamViewer retract their sponsorship because they're just getting bombarded with shitty reviews constantly. I think all the businesses they own, they've bombarded them and sort of fucked them up there. Trustpilot and Google ratings and stuff like that. So they are playing with. I know they don't give a shit what we think, and I know they don't give a shit either way. But they're playing with fire. I think they're so up their own ass, and they don't see how the world actually is. They just live in this insular view of like how they see the world. It's just like, I think they don't see what's coming, and if they do, somebody doesn't speak to them, and it makes them aware, it's going to be chaos. Like, there's going to be games. We're going to get fined by the Premier League, going to fined by the UEFA, etc. Because games are just going to get shut down, and it's just going to be chaos. Yeah, you saw what happened with the Super League. How the fans were so against it. Chelsea did it, United did it, Spurs did it. Everyone was all it. So that's what you're looking at. So it's not good. It's not a good situation for anybody, for the players, for the staff, for the owners, for the fans. Nobody wants this. Nobody's in favour of this. But they are within, I suppose, legally within their rights to do so because they own the club.
Yeah. Scary thoughts. I don't want to imagine that world or try even be hypothetical, but it is a potential option, like Sam just said there, Shreyas. What if someone says to you, Shreyas, well, they got away with the Super League, they'll get away with this? Because we can't imagine, can we, as fans, anything worse than the Glazers announcing the selling and then going... you can't do anything worse than doing what they might do by saying, like, oh, yeah, we're going to sell up, and then go, actually, nope, we've got the investment we needed now, we're going to stay. Like... Yeah. Do you think it could actually get worse than the Super League in terms of like the riots and obviously all the whole debacle going on around that?
I think it could, because I think after everything that has happened, since the Glazers actually put it out and publicized that, they're putting the club up for sale. I think it's like about 4 to 5 months from that point now. So after, basically half a year, if they, when it is pretty much, at the end point that the new owners are going to be known really, really soon, that the bids are in and everything is sorted, everything is there. You just need to select the bid that you have to expect, which is the highest bid that they would. And then they just come out and say that, we are not interested in selling a club. I think it will leave some long-term effects on the fans. And like Sam mentioned as well, the fans are going to be relentless. They're going to keep on coming out every single game, and practically this protest is going to, it is just going to, keep going on every single time any team comes to United.
Yeah, there's no PR company on the planet who could spin that at all in any form of way. Regardless of, however they go about it, it's just, it can't happen, cannot happen. They could, like we're saying, could legally do it, but I can only imagine the level of protest there would be if they decided to turn back and do it. So let's hope they do sell the club, and obviously for any more updates on that, we will go live on it. So turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. You don't miss a damn thing. On to a little bit more positive news, I suppose. I wanted a little section just to discuss Marcel Sabitzer. He had a really good performance last night, which got people talking about a potential transfer and what the future lies for him. Will it be at Manchester United or will he go back to Germany? Now, his fee is likely to be £25-30 million. He's 28 years old. He likes it at Manchester United, but how do we go about it, Sam? Do we just get him? And then if we do get him, do we not get a marquee signing in terms of because we're supposed to be in for a number 8, aren't we, a midfielder? So if we do sign him, is it just him, not a marquee signing, and we use the money elsewhere? Or do you think we could fit him in the budget? How do you see that playing out?
I suppose because we've got players that we could sell. Like I've seen lists from various journalists and around. People like Tellez are on the sale list. Maguire, Bailly, Scott McTominay, possibly Wan-Bissaka. I disagree with Wan-Bissaka one, but that's what's being reported. So if we can make a bit of money, say we sell Scott McTominay for 35-40 million, you get Sabitzer in for 15-20, then you've got an extra 20 million then into your pot that you can play with, and that can go towards another midfield signing, which we do need. I think Sabitzer's a good squad player as a replacement for McTominay, but I think we need a DM or like a number 8 who can command, like in the vein of Frankie de Jong. I don't think we're getting Frankie de Jong, but at that level, that's what we need, or a backup DM. So when Casemiro is, I would say, suspended or unavailable, or we want to rotate out when we're playing like a smaller team, we can have it and bring that in. So I think it's doable. I think that if we're smart and we sell well early and we go out and do our business quickly, and again, this is United we're talking about, so probably isn't going to happen unless we get new owners before the summer and they restructure it and get people like, say, a Paul Mitchell in, or people on that level in quick and get them going. So yeah, I think it's doable. I think we can get Sabitzer and somebody else in. If the Glazers stay, then everything's off the table, really, isn't it? Because it's going to be the same old shit.
I'd actually say you're probably more likely to get Sabitzer if
No,
the
but
Glazers stay.
what I mean,
it's a cheap option, isn't it?
Yeah.
What I mean is, we're not getting anyone else if the Glazers stay. Sabitzer's your midfield signing.
Yeah.
That's what you're getting.
Yeah, your marquee signing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the two
yeah.
things you say.
Yeah. So he's your midfield signing for the summer. That's what's happening, and then we'll probably spaff 100 and odd million on Harry Kane, and that'll be it. We'll be done, and we'll drag it out the entire summer as well. It'll be week 1 of June. Manchester United have made bid for Harry Kane. August 31st. Manchester United agree fee for Harry Kane. Like, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be that shit. But we'll see what happens. It depends on the owners.
Yeah. What about yourself, Trey? Thoughts on his performance last night as well? Because we haven't. Well, obviously it was just me and Sam on the review. So thoughts on his game last night, and then his long-term future as well, if you can, please. And let us know in the chat, guys. Marcel Sabitzer, yes or no? Would you sign him?
I think to give a proper judgment to it, I think we still need to see, like, 3 to 4 more games, because I think yesterday the first half was really good. I think overall, if you have to like compare both halves, I think the first half was much better in comparison to the second half. But I think in the second half we were still able to maintain our own. We were able to hold it out and take 3 points. That is what matters the most. I think Sabitzer had a decent performance. I think he got the freedom to actually play much more advanced yesterday, because earlier on we saw in the Newcastle game that when Sabitzer and McTominay were playing alongside each other as pivots, they didn't really work together because they didn't have any chemistry in between them. So I think he could be an option which Ten Hag might look into, as to if I think if he has a good run of games, like 3 to 4 more games, because the thing is, we're still yet to see that Casemiro, Sabitzer, and Bruno midfield. Like, actually seeing Sabitzer play with that freedom, we haven't seen that yet. So I think we should still wait out on it. I think we still need to see the best of Sabitzer. We haven't seen it yet. He definitely has had his moments. He brings that versatility as well, because he can play in every single position in that midfield. But yeah, I think if we do, and if you want to sign Sabitzer, I think you still need to let go of another midfielder, because you've already got Eriksen at the club, and you might actually go in for even if you get Sabitzer, you might be going in for another midfielder. So probably we could be seeing 2 midfielders leaving United this summer if we do end up going for Sabitzer.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, isn't it, the Sabitzer situation. I said previously, I wasn't sold on him, but I agree with Chivy where he was saying I'm not sure what he's good at yet. I'm not sure what his main position would be. I think with him being deployed a little bit further up yesterday, I thought he actually looked much better. His link-up play, Sam touched on it, with like the combinational play with him, Bruno, Sancho, Shaw. Like, he really looked good in that. It looks like a well-oiled kind of machine the way it was going forward. So if he could continue to give them performances at that level, and you can get him for 25 to 30 million, I'd say why not? Because you can get
Yeah.
much worse players and be charged a lot more, 40, 50 million. You've seen, we got linked with fucking Longstaff for 50 million. Anthony Gordon's gone for 60 million. He could still turn out good, but what my point is, you've seen ridiculous prices, and for half of that, I think Sabitzer would be a good signing. There is a comment. Sorry, just before you go on, Trey. There is a comment. I think we've got a Liverpool fan in the chat saying 7-0. I think he's referring to how many goals Darwin Núñez has scored. His star striker who they bought for £80 million.
I think
I'm not sure if that is.
I think they're also referring to where they're going to finish below in the table, like below seven. So.
Or even how many behind us. If we're in third, they might finish 10th.
Also how many goals they conceded in the last 2 games as well. That could be it as well.
Yeah. How many items they rob from Mazda? I don't know. It could be a number of things.
Shout out to Zoe's Media House in the chat. Hey guys, it's been a while. Hope you're all well. I'm all good, Zoe. Hope you're well as well, my friend.
Yeah, man, we've missed you, Zoe. Let us know how you're doing, and let us know what's a bit so as well. We're just discussing that. But we're going to get onto a little bit of transfer talk in a second. In fact, we'll get onto it now because there's only a few little bits, a few little drips. Sam, you mentioned something about, was it Kim Min-jae?
And Osman. Obviously, Osman's the major talking point at the minute.
Yeah, the spearhead.
But Manchester Evening News, again, take it with a pinch of salt because
it's a new show, innit? Like we just put it out there. It's not.
Right, this is not what we believe. That I'm just reporting what's being reported. That's all I'm doing. Manchester United are eyeing a major double sweep for Napoli stars Victor Osimhen and Kim Min-jae, according to reports. Again, I hate that phrase. According to reports. What the fuck does that mean?
Like, monitoring, according to reports, assessing.
It's fucking irritating. Anyways, United's interest in Osimhen has been long-standing and well documented, with the Nigerian striker on the list of forwards being eyed by Erik ten Hag as he wants to add a world-class finisher to his side. There's so much fluff in this fucking article. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Sometimes
it's almost awkward, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like reporting it
ourselves. I'm just going to skip out that bollocks. However, Ten Hag may also be in the market with defensive reinforcements, with at least one of Harry Maguire or Victor Lindelof, potentially both, departing in search of more regular football. Football Insider reports their eyes may already be on Napoli and their defender Kim Min-jae. Excuse me. A deal for both could see the Reds fork out close to 150 million for Osimhen alone. With Osimhen alone expected to cost 100 million, where Kim Min-jae has a 43 million pound release clause, although it will only be active for the first 2 weeks of July. So yeah, that is the report coming out of the Manchester Evening News in terms of transfers.
Treyas, I know you've, correct me if I'm wrong, you might just say, no, I haven't, shut up, Nick. But I'm sure you've watched bits of Napoli this season. You were speaking to me about Kvaratskhelia. I can't even say his name. Go on, you pronounce it for me. You know how to pronounce it.
Yeah. Kvaratskhelia.
Fantastic pronunciation. Don't know how you do that, but fair play to you. So you obviously watched him, because if you can pronounce that name, that's more than I've watched him. Osimhen, Kim Min-jae, what do you think price tag? What type of players are there? I'm sure people would have watched Osimhen, and we've spoken about Osimhen before, but more kind of focusing a little bit on Kim Min-jae, if possible.
I think the biggest thing about Napoli right now is, one thing is certain, that next year they're gonna get rated. Like next season in this summer window, their players are, big money signings are gonna happen. A lot of their players are gonna leave, and Kim Min-jae and Osimhen are gonna be some of those players who might be leaving Napoli next season, because it happens every single time. Team crushes in the Champions League, has a really decent season in their own league as well. Players do get rated and they end up changing clubs. It's happened with Ajax. It has happened with Monaco in Dortmund. So a lot of clubs have gone down that route. And I think Kim Min-jae is a very decent defender. He's a very good centre back. He's very aggressive. He allows Napoli to actually play a lot more forward and attacking, something that they've actually missed out on. And he's actually come in and had a much better season than what Koulibaly has had with Napoli over the so many seasons. Like, he's come in and they haven't even felt that Koulibaly has left their club, and Koulibaly was a very, very big figure in that Napoli defense. So he's filled Koulibaly's shoes and actually performed better than him within a space of one season. And a lot of clubs have been inquiring about him, and he actually came in from Fenerbahce, and I think they signed him for just 10 or 15 million. So he's been value for money for them, and if United do go in for him, there are other clubs who are interested in getting him in. So you could easily be seeing figures of 40 million up or upwards for Kim Min-jae. And when you talk about Victor Osimhen, once again, a lot of clubs are in the running for him. He is one of the hottest strikers in the market right now. He's been scoring goals for fun. His link up play with the attack with players like Politano, Kvaratskhelia, and the way he's able to actually the burst of pace he has that flair in him. When you look into profiles of the strikers that Eric Ten Hag would like to work with, Osimhen is one of those strikers. Um, but once again, he's going to cost really, he is going to be around that 100 million or 110 million range, because Napoli know how to make money off their players.
Oh yeah.
So you could easily be seeing figures of 100 or 110 million for Victor Osimhen, and if United do end up going in for the both of them, that would be like 165 or 170 million being just used for two players itself. So we need to be very, very cautious if we have to proceed for these players, because you can't expect to like the way we function in this summer window. Like we went in for Anthony in the first week, Ajax just wanted 50 million for it. When we moved in, we went in for the deadline day, then we ended up signing Anthony for 90 million. Imagine we do that with someone like Victor Osimhen, like 100 million at the first day. Imagine what price you would go for on deadline day.
We've got a couple of shouts from Zoe's Media House in the chat saying, I want to sign Kaigo Furuhashi. Is that the Japanese player? I feel like that's a Japanese player. I've heard of that name. Furuhashi one day will dominate at a big club. So there's a little bit of scouting there from Zoe's Media House. Yeah, interesting that situation with centre back and striker, especially if you go raid Napoli for both. I can only imagine what the president's going to say of the club if you go in for both of his big players. He's going to be like probably 250 million, mate, for both. Something outrageous. Sam, are you more on the cheaper side? Well, I say cheaper, we don't know, but we can only assume Harry Kane is going to be slightly cheaper. Are you still on that kind of, I don't know what you call it, not a group, but you know what I'm saying?
There's other options out there. Like Harry Kane seems to be the one that's being linked. Obviously, he's got his advantages. He's got a year left on his deal, so that should make him cheaper. But you're dealing with Daniel Levy, who he's not a negotiator. He gets what he wants for his thing. Otherwise, they don't go. He doesn't care if they've got a year left on a deal. He wants the money, and he'd cut his nose off to spite his face. He'd rather Kane stay at Spurs for another season and not sell him for under what he wants for him. So
probably
that's the issue dealing with them. I think if we're going to go for Harry Kane, I think we go in early, feel it out, find out what the price is. If Daniel Levy's asking for a ridiculous amount, just walk away. Just fucking we're not going to continue this all summer and try and negotiate down, because that's
the important thing.
He just isn't going to do it. He isn't going to do it. So if you can agree a price or around, he's not it, and you can go for it. But if he's going, I want 175 million, just fuck off, just leave, just go away and find somebody else. Adam's in the chat, he said we need Ferguson. I'm sold. Evan Ferguson definitely could be an option. He's a very, very good striker. Brighton, again, Brighton are going to want, 40, 50 million for him. Could be more. Yeah. Because they get their money for their players, don't they? Ben White, Cucurella, Casido was getting quoted for 70, 80 and he didn't let him go. So Brighton don't need the money either. Like they can sort of sit without it. It doesn't matter to them. You've got Sesko, your mate, who's going to Leipzig. Could we do a deal there? Like if we pay enough, we could get the deal cancelled and we could swipe him. That's an option there as well.
A lot of pressure in it for youngsters, though. That's the only thing, bringing them in.
But that's the problem. Like in a minute,
18-year-old Ferguson.
At the minute, we are in a position where all the best strikers in the world, aside from Osimhen and say Kane, are unavailable. Haaland's unavailable. Benzema's unavailable. Except all these players are unavailable, so we have to go for one of them two, or we have to start looking at the youth options and do it that way. That's the two ways we have to go. So is Media House. The influx of Asian players is here. Yeah, it seems like a lot of the Japanese, Korean players, they're definitely stepping up and making their mark. Shah Sam, shout out to Shah Sam, who is a Real Reds Ultra. If you want to join and become a Real Reds Ultra with a little badge next to your name, please do. It's right next to the join button. If we don't sign Sabitzer, should we go for Tielemans? I think he's on a free. I think if he's on a free, why not? But I don't know.
Why has no one gone in for him yet?
That's what Woody's saying. That's what Woody's saying.
That's the point.
That's what worries me. Why
That's
if
like-
nobody signed him? So what's going on? Why has nobody signed him?
Yeah,
It's
I
interesting.
thought Arsenal would have gone in for him last summer because they obviously they want midfielders, but
They
just never
ended up getting
materialised.
Jorginho.
I know he has had injury issues, Tielemans, and he's a good player, but maybe it's just a product of how Leicester's season has been. Obviously, just sacked Brendan Rodgers, aren't they? And a lot of the players haven't been performance levels aside from James Maddison. Jamie Vardy's dropped off the face of a cliff. He's not the same player he was anymore. So they've had a lot of. It might just be a product of the environment, I don't know. But from everything I've seen of Youri Tielemans, he looks like a good player. You mentioned someone like Benzema there. That is someone, if you could get him like younger, a Karim Benzema, obviously this is hypothetical in an ideal world, that is someone absolutely I watched him yesterday against Barcelona.
Yeah.
And he's still levels, like still absolute top levels. I know he's 35, but he's still fucking absolutely class. And if you put the right players around him, I feel like Kane could do a similar job at United, and that's why I'm constantly chopping and changing between what striker I want. You asked me next week, it'll be Sesko. You asked me the week after, it'll be Osimhen. I just hope United get that decision right. They have to get it right. And in regards to the Kim Min-jae one as well, just very quickly, there is a thing in June where his release clause activated for a day or 2.
2 weeks.
So I feel like Napoli are not going to get any offers at the start.
It's for 2 weeks.
And then as soon as is it 2 weeks?
Yeah,
I thought it was
2
a
weeks.
couple of days.
No, it was in I read out the article. It's 2 weeks.
Yeah, so within them 2 weeks, their phone line's going to be absolutely
Disconnected.
Forcing.
They're going to disconnect their phone line.
Yeah, but yeah, just sorry, Sam. What was you going to say then?
It's always been a house. The bits that cost 15 million, I'd say fine, but no more. But yeah, I think ideally what we would do is we'd go out and get Osimhen or a Kane, and then we'd go get an Evan Ferguson or a Sesko with him, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
That's what we'd do, because I think that would be the ideal. You've got your main striker for right now, who's going to score you 20 plus goals a season, and then you've got your young striker who can play in the cup games, play in rotation, learn his trade, develop under Ten Hag, and then he's your replacement. That's what you would do ideally. But
Vegas in a corner like that. I'll
Get out.
play. I'll play the cup games.
Get out. And then Martial's on the fucking fitness table still with a broken leg.
Yeah.
So
it's difficult, isn't it? It's a tough situation. Shreyas, you still team Vlahovic?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What? Give me a percentage on Vlahovic signing for United. What do you genuinely think the chances are of him signing?
40%.
You think it's 40? Really? That high?
Yeah.
Okay. Explain why.
Yeah, I just want it to happen.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough. Yeah, can't argue with that. I can't say you're wrong in that.
Yeah, I felt really bad after Felix. I want someone I like to come in.
Well, that's someone we've been linked with again. I think he's looked, in fairness, I think he's looked all right for Chelsea whenever I've watched him. He's been like their main threat. A little bit wasteful in front of goal, but I think, I can see what angle you was coming at for there. I wasn't sold him at first, but now watching him for Chelsea, I think could potentially do a job.
just signed a new contract, though, hasn't he? He's just signed a new contract.
Yeah, that's an extension. I think it was to retain his value. I think
there you go. So it's gonna cost a fortune. That
anyone's gonna cost like 70 mil above, aren't they? For being completely honest.
Yeah, any striker we're going for at least 80 to 100 million.
Even young strikers, you're probably looking 50 to 60 million. So it's going to be a risk wherever you go. God knows who they're going to pick. But
that's why if we're spending that amount of money, I would go Harry Kane, because it's a very low risk. Very low risk. He scores goals in the Premier League for fun. Like, even in a shit Tottenham team, he's got 20 goals this season in a shit Tottenham team.
Yeah.
So it's very low risk. Osimhen's a higher risk. Sesko's a higher risk. Evan Ferguson's slightly higher risk, but he's doing it in the Prem at the minute. So yeah, Harry Kane's the lowest risk, I think. So if you're going to spend 100 million, I think that's the way you go.
Yeah.
I don't think I can't. If it was me, I wouldn't spend 100 mil on it.
No, he's not worth 100 million. But if every option you're looking at is 70 to 100 million, that's the way you go, right?
If he's 28 now, not picked up as many injuries as he had, 100 mil, go get him right now. Go get him right now. But 30, I don't know. Obviously, everyone makes a massive thing of the age. People will throw the thing out there with Casemiro, saying, well, he's 30. But I don't know how long you're going to get out of him.
I think
if we have
max 2
discussion,
seasons. I think maximum.
That's what I mean. Are we going to be here again in 2 seasons saying, well, we've got to spend another 150 million probably?
Well, that's why I said.
On
striker. Get Kane and a younger striker, and then you're covering your bases. That's how you do it.
It's FFP though, then that you got to deal with, isn't it? Like in the same window, can you go get 2 strikers,
like I said,
a midfielder, centre back?
If we get new owners in and we sell well, then we can offset that FFP, can't we? Because if we can sell the likes of McTominay, the likes of Maguire, Lindelof, Bailly, Telles, Dean Henderson, Martial possibly. You can sell these players off, and then that offsets your financial fair play to go spend and get these to rebuild your team. So it's just a question of us about sorting our issues out in the summer to sell. That's going to be the main issue. If we can't do that, then yeah, you're right, we're fucked because we're not going to be able to spend. So.
Yeah.
In an ideal world, we'd obviously love to sell all them players, but if you look at any previous summer transfer windows, we really struggle to sell, and we don't sell usually more than 2 players or 3 players for a good price. So if we go into the summer, I will hold my hands up. If we sell Maguire, McTominay, all the ones that are listed to sell, I'll be like, fair enough, you're right. We ended up buying these players, but transfer windows just don't work like that.
No.
They don't. I think we'll get 3 players probably and sell 1 or sell 2. Yeah. Maybe sign 4. I'm not sure, but that's the way I see it going. That's the way it usually to craft it, because I'm always like, oh well, we can sell him for that. We can sell him for that. You know, we've got that much there. United just can't do it. It's high wages as well.
If the Glazers stay, yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. That's what's happening. And if the Glazers go, I think the Qataris, especially, they'll just go, we'll just take a hit on these players because we need to get them out the door. They're on massive wages. Yeah. We need to restructure the club. We'll just take a hit on them and sell them for cheaper. So, like, Maguire, we're not going to get much for Maguire, are we? Let's be honest. It's not going to get much.
Probably less than 50% what we paid for him.
Day's not going to get much for them. Tellez not going to get much for them. And McTominay could be a decent chunk of change. Newcastle get some money for him. Dean Henderson might be able to get a decent chunk of change for him. I think we can get some
Donny van de Beek.
Donny van de Beek, get some money for him selling back to Ajax, get some of our money back that we spent in the summer. Martial, I think we could sell for decent money. I think somebody would definitely pick him up. Maybe not in the UK, but like abroad, I think somebody would definitely pick him up. So if we're smart, we can do it. But if the Glazers are in charge, ain't happening. It's not happening.
Yeah, I don't trust the people in the board as well to sell him. Look at this really good Ferrari here, and it just looks like a Nissan, and you're like, well, it's not, is it? Because we watched, like Martial, for example, I'm not calling him a Nissan. He's put in some really good cameos for us. He's had some fantastic seasons with us. He's been injured most of the year. His loan at Sevilla didn't work out. Yeah. He's on 200 grand a week. I don't think people will look at that and they'll be like, yeah, he's worth it for a full season. He's worth spending 20, 25 million on. I think there'll be other options out there that could go get that. It's more reliable, in my personal opinion. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens with the transfer situation. Shreya, do you have anything else to add before we wrap the show up? I don't know if you wanted to weigh in on that situation or not, the striker situation.
Yeah, I think I just hope that after this window we can genuinely say that we have cleared all the deadwood. Like we can actually come out and say that, you know, all these fringe players, all these players who we had to offload and have been, you know, there at the club for about, you know, so many seasons, like 5 to 6 seasons, they've now gone. And probably, you know, these young players who are actually coming through from their loan spells as well, like Hannibal Mabry, Ahmad, and so many different players who are there and still coming through the ranks. Probably they are able to get more game times in those cup games and other games. And yeah, so for me, I think the first step in this window would be to offload these players. Even if, you know, you just get like 10 million for them, if you're able to offload like even 7 to 8 players, you generate 80 to 90 million for them.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Let's see what happens. We've got the Everton preview tomorrow, and we've got an Everton fan on there, one of my mates, who will tell us all about what's been going on this season with Mr. Sean Dyche and Tarkowski at the back post with Dwight McNeil. We're going to have a very good show on that. So he's going to deep dive into their season. We're going to talk about the game on Saturday. Obviously, we'll have the watch along on Saturday. Sam, you mentioned it was early kickoff, right?
12:30. 12:30. Yeah.
12:30. Yeah. So I'll be live at 11:30 with team news, and then Sunday we'll have a bit of a Sunday social breaking down. Hopefully, some updates on the ownership, transfers, etc. Thank you to Sam and thank you to Shreya for coming on, lads.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Last couple of comments. It's always been a house. How badass is Malacia? Every time I see this lad, he's a fighter. Yeah, I really like Malacia. He's very aggressive. If we get billionaire owners, do you think they will spend to sign every player we need, or will they sign players over a number of seasons? I think they're going to be under the constraints of financial fair play, so we can't. It will be window after window. Yeah, we can't just blow, say, 500 million this summer because financial fair play dictates we're not allowed to do that. So that's what we were saying. Like, unless we can sell well and offset that, and then we can spend a little bit more. I think if we don't sell well, I think our limit's like 150 million or something like that we can spend, which again is not a lot. So it all depends on the owners and also who we can sell. I think that's the two most important things.
Yeah, we can spend 300 million, but we have to sell probably 50% of that in terms of to spend the other 150 as well. Wages come into consideration as well, whoever goes off the books with that, and then taking other people in. So, exciting times, hopefully, as we go into the summer. Not long now. We've got literally 2 months until the summer transfer window opens, so we'll have loads of stuff around that. But now it's just about pushing until the end of the season. It starts with Everton on Saturday. So make sure you join us for the preview tomorrow. Subscribe to the channel, smash a like on the video, and follow us on socials. The TikTok's back again, popping off. I'm doing lives over on there. So if you're more of a TikTok live kind of person, then make sure you come follow us on there. Instagram, do really well. Sam functions that on there, like fantastic graphics, up-to-date news, everything you want from an Instagram page it's got. And then likewise with the Twitter as well. Dan and Shreyas do fantastic jobs over there. So take care of yourself, guys. Hope you enjoyed the show, and of course we'll see you tomorrow, or if anything breaks we'll go live for that as well. Peace.